Okay, so we're now taking off all of the relays on here and all the relays on here, just suspending them with bits of wire so as I'm not putting stress on stuff, because you know what these things are like. They've been in the same position for God knows how long. As soon as I start fiddling with them, wires are going to snap off. So I always take pictures of various angles of these cables, so if something does drop off, I know which contact it goes on. I've got a schematic, so if all else fails I can go back to the schematic, but it's just a whole lot easier. Oh look, there's a coil that's escaped there. Let's just make sure he's being suspended. There we go. Yeah, you know, it's just a whole lot easier if you can save yourself a bit of work. So yeah, the only things I think of note this time, there were two of these boards on springs. Springs are rusted. See what they come out like in the ultrasonic and then polish them. Then one thing I will need to do is drop some glue into these just to replasticize, because like wood gets really old and you can see that it's really dusty. If I put the threads in there, if I put the self-tapper in there, chances are it's probably going to strip. So if I inject a bit of PVA into there, it kind of creates a little bit of a raw plug and just holds any of the dust together so that I've got something to bind to with the screw. So I'll do that on any of the screws, any of the areas like that need a bit of injection, shall we say. Same up here as well. Some of these will need a little bit of working, but not a lot to report on this one. Oh yeah, actually one more thing, just one more thing. Now these here are fibre, and I did an experiment and I did film it, but it was pretty boring, so I'm not going to show it, I don't think. But I put this in a tub of almost boiling water, so straight out the kettle with some washing up liquid, give it a bit of agitation, and instantly I saw it bubble. So what that was telling me, it was taking on water and releasing air potentially. And as I watched over a period of time, this just expanded ever so slightly and became quite malleable. So potentially I'm going to put this in the Sonic, then it's probably going to get knackered. So I'm going to do an experiment with one in the Sonic first of all. If it does, no biggie. These are pretty easy to make. You can get a bit of PCB or a bit of plastic, make it yourself and just re-rivet. Hardest thing will be getting small enough rivets so they don't foul anything. But just to be cautious, these are, unlike the Williams ones and Bally's, they're not plastic. They're a compressed material, a bit like your worktops, I presume. And we all know if we get the worktop wet in the wood, it explodes. You know, it absorbs the moisture and increases in size, but when it's dried out, it doesn't decrease in size. This decreased a bit, but it was still a little bit thick, you know. And don't be tempted to try and move it if you do get it wet, because I'm betting you any money it'll just snap straight across that line. Also going to need to get some of these little grommets. I've taken some measurements over there. Okay, so if anybody wants to see, and this is the internal metal diameter, that's the internal diameter of the rubber grommet, and that's the external diameter of the rubber grommet, so 10mm, 3mm and 6mm respectively. To see if I can just breathe a bit of life into those, because obviously if those are rigid or squashed and aren't vibrating, there's a chance that the relays will chatter, which is the whole point of having these spring-loaded boards anyway. Anyway, that's about it. I guess the next thing I will be doing, we'll be taking this apart, and I really want to get my hands on that freaking mess. Yeah, I've got some spare spider stuff from a different machine. It's not the same make, it's a Williams one. It says check in, pretty sure it is. Yeah, it's Williams. So I'm going to see what I can do with that, but I need to get it off, take some pictures, get the thing drawn to scale, and just see if I can reuse any of this on that, because that's just an accident waiting to happen. That's just waiting to fall apart at a show and then ruin everybody's fun, because that is the shot count unit. So if that goes, you're screwed. You know, it's quite an essential piece of the game, and it's quite easy to understand on the schematic as well, what all of those fingers do. Obviously I don't know what this one's doing, really don't got a clue. It's just up in the air, and when you look at the schematic, there should be, I think, 5 in contact with that board, 2 equally spaced at least. But yeah, have a look at the schematic, you'll know what I'm on about. So yeah, that's probably the next thing I'm going to do, is this bit in here. But I want to try not to get ahead of myself. I want to try and get this lot washed and vibrated and probably back together before I attempt that. I don't know, I may just take that off and have a play. Anyway, that's it for now. Stay tuned for next time. From me and Rufus, goodbye. Goodbye all!